effectively, improvisation is composing in that moment, and you've still got to use the ideas, the words. Good morning, welcome to the vlog. Never kind of figured out, let me get myself in focus before I talk any more to you. There we go. Never kind of figured out how Greensleeves made it on a ballads album. Today, I am going to talk about Bebop Heads here, if you want to skip ahead to there. But before that, two little things to catch you up if you are a normal watcher of this show on the vlog. Sadly, we didn't get to do the masterclass with Wynton Marsalis. What happened was the snow was still quite bad on Saturday morning. It hadn't cleared, and the head of the centre had to make a decision, and we cancelled it, which is such a shame. Wynton was still in town. He was at Saffron Hall watching Nicky Benedetti, or hearing Nicky Benedetti, I should say, playing one of his latest pieces, so that was what he was in town for. It would have been great if he'd been able to do the class, but it didn't happen. If you haven't already read on the Cambridge Saxophone page the blog post I did about Wynton chatting to my students 2 years ago, maybe even longer than that, gosh, it could actually be coming up to 3 years ago, maybe even 4, no, whatever it was anyway, at the Cambridge Corn Exchange, when he chatted to one of my students, Rob, who's now doing his saxophone at the Royal Northern College of Music. Wynton was there telling Rob to sort of start transcribing Ornette Coleman, not just doing the sort of traditional. And it was great to have Owen, one of our trumpet players, on the Friday evening, kind of having Wynton given him his number, and I just was able to say to Owen and his dad, I said, keep it, take him up on it, because his brother did the same to me 15 years ago and it changed my life. Speaking of the Marsalis family in Bramford, I was in touch with them over the weekend because I've been invited to do a classical recital with the organ at Methodist Central Hall in Westminster, which is quite an imposing instrument. I mean, it's huge. Gerard Brooks, who's the director of music there, has asked me to put together a programme, so I know Bramford has done a lot of classical sax, and so I've just literally just ordered off Amazon 2 new classical pieces to play along with the organ to get into the practice regime once my finger is better. The update on that and the good news on that is that I am seeing a hand therapist on Friday this week to get something fitted to my finger, and today my Mark VI is going in, and what I'm going to get done, if you haven't watched the vlog regularly, I'm going to get the G key moved just a few millimeters to the left, my left here, so that when I put my finger down, I'm less likely, where am I there? I'm less likely to play it on the edge, which is what I've been doing a lot of the time, simply so I'm freer to get down here. It's basically, my hands are quite big versus the 6, and I'm kind of having to curl. I don't like curling the little finger, so I don't feel I've got the traction in it. It's something I've done for a long time where I'm playing that key on the edge, so moving that out is going to be a positive thing, whether I have this problem or not. The next thing I want to talk to you about, which I am literally going to go live with now, is my Kickstarter, and you may have already seen yesterday, today, depending on when this goes out, my Kickstarter video. I really want to get jazz festivals up to the Edinburgh Jazz Festival. I need your help to do that. It's not a huge amount of money, it's certainly less than I've raised up before on Kickstarter, so whatever way you can help make this happen will be amazing. So let's do it now. I'm going to literally continue to launch. Here we go. It's go. So links below, check it out. Please, please help. Yesterday I was on a gig in London with a lovely singer called Shan Smile. So really enjoyed what she did there. Spoke in my second ever vlog, and if you've never watched them, it's over here, isn't it? If you've never watched them, can I encourage you to just have a little pop over and just kind of see how my style has developed over the years. But I spoke way back then about the importance of listening in the car, because quite often I don't get the chance to do it. And one of the things I like to do when I'm in the car, especially in this car, because they kind of the iPod dock's not great, is listen to CDs. The advantage being that you then go back to listening to things over and over and over again. out for tomorrow, yeah, I haven't actually managed to get any clasps, so I just thought of them for the case. So if I have a quick look with lunchtime done, just grabbed a sandwich while I was in Cambridge, gonna head back to the car now. Feels weird leaving my Mark VI anywhere, but I know it's gonna be a better instrument, and more importantly I'm gonna be able to play it for longer if that G key is in the right place. That's where Siri was born. Check out this vlog if you want to know more about where Siri was born. A to Z of Bebop, what am I aiming to get students through for this course? One of the greatest explanations I've ever heard on music, but especially when it comes to jazz, is the analogy Branford told me about using music as language. And if you watch this video, taken a few years ago, you'll he really expands on it a little bit more.
All of us have a friend who has limited verbal skills, you know, kind of like the way our president is right now. I mean, when he has a limited vocabulary. So when he talks, he can only talk, like he can't use big words, you know. So sometimes when he's in a situation where he's on a podium with people who have a large command of the language, it doesn't reflect well on him. And jazz can be that way too. When you have guys that learn and all they're learning is from books, and you have people that have 1 or 2 records or 10 records, and then you have a guy that has 500 records and learn solos from 500 records, believe me, he's gonna wax you every time.
Now, he wasn't actually talking about Donald Trump there, or George W. Bush at the time, and it's so true. When you don't have an expansive vocabulary, it is very difficult to truly express how you're feeling about a particular subject matter, how you want to get your message across. Now, it's another one of my teachers, Eric Alexander, who advised me that learning Bebop Heads was a really good way of understanding the language of jazz, especially kind of jazz post 1945. If you're wanting to play modern jazz, bebop, hard bop, modal jazz, anything within that ilk, understanding what's going on in Bebop Heads, especially the Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie kind of vocabulary. Most of you probably already know this, but it's worth pointing out to people who don't, that so many of the bebop tunes are composed heads that are put over the top of standards. So things like Anthropology is a Charlie Parker composition over the chord changes to I Got Rhythm. It's almost like an exercise. I mentioned it in this vlog way back about, you know, if you've got a difficult set of chord changes you need to navigate, although most standards are not necessarily difficult, it's well worth writing your own etude. In fact, if you want to improve getting over navigating any chord progression, composing your own set of etudes is a really, really good way of improving your improvisation. It seems weird that writing something down, composing something is going to help you improvise, but effectively improvisation is composing in that moment, and you've still got to use the ideas, the words. You know, I'm improvising now as I'm talking to you, but I'm still using words from the English language, otherwise you'd have no idea what I was talking about. So there's a page now up, in fact it's been up for a couple of days, on the Cambridge Saxophone website. Let me move out of the way, bring it in here. So you can see there's an invitation there to sign up for the course. The course isn't ready yet. It will take a couple of weeks just to finish off the course we're already doing on Night Train and get this bebop course. But if you want to get a heads up, if you're not already one of my students, I'm opening this course up to everybody. But it's going to go on for about 20 weeks, maybe hopefully 27 weeks if I manage to find a bebop track that starts with Z, even if I have to slightly change the name of it or even write one myself. So there is an awful lot of Charlie Parker in here because there's an awful lot of bebop that has to do with Charlie Parker. Also as well, if you're a saxophone player, you need to learn some Charlie Parker. Even if you don't really want to play jazz, there's so much language that Bird comes to on the saxophone that you need to find a way of approaching it. A lot of people, and I know I did years ago, shy away from it because it's hard. Don't do that. Don't shy away from it because it's hard. For some people, just playing those heads is going to be a tall order. For others, playing the heads is going to be easy, but actually what you really should be doing is memorizing, actually learning those bebop heads. Let me know if there's some bebop heads that are not on that playlist that you think should be on there. Of course, I've tried to choose one alphabetically, that's why it's called an A to Z. So there are going to be ones that are great bebop tunes that maybe I want to put on, but I only put one on, and there'll be reasons for that which I'll explain in the course. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you check out what I was doing in my last vlog here. This is what I was up to this time last year. This was a very special vlog, this one. Please hit the subscribe button, but most importantly, please go and check out my Kickstarter, which has already got its first backer, so thank you very much for doing that, Richard. I will see you all very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.